Imagine this. You wake up to the news you've been waiting for your entire investing life. The RV has happened. The Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong have revalued to the stratospheric levels you were promised. Your heart is pounding. Your hands are shaking with excitement as you log into your bank account, already mentally spending the fortune you believe is now yours. But then you see it. The balance is there, but it's not what you expected. It's a fraction of what you dreamed. A cold dread washes over you as you realize a devastating, irreversible mistake has been made. Not by the governments, not by the banks, but by you. All that waiting, all that hoping, all that money invested, rendered nearly meaningless by a simple, avoidable error you didn't even know you were making. This nightmare scenario is what I'm here to prevent. If you are holding dinar or dong, you cannot afford to be passive or operate on rumors. The information landscape surrounding these currencies is a minefield, and today we are going to walk through it together, step by step, to ensure you are not one of the countless investors who will see their potential gains vanish due to ignorance. Welcome, and pay very close attention, because what you are about to learn is the difference between financial liberation and a very expensive lesson. The first, and arguably the most catastrophic mistake, is what I call dealer delusion. This is the belief that the person or company you bought your currency from is your friend, your guru, or your primary source of truth. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. The vast majority of dinar and dong dealers are not financial advisors. They are salespeople. Their business model is predicated on selling you a dream, a hope, wrapped in the guise of a currency note. They create entire ecosystems, websites, forums, conference calls, all designed to keep you buying and holding, often using fear and urgency as their primary tools. They will tell you that you must buy from authorized dealers to be eligible for the RV, a claim that has absolutely no basis in reality from a central banking perspective. They create artificial scarcity, warning that the window is closing, or that new lower denominations are about to be released, pushing you to make emotional, panicked purchases rather than rational, strategic ones. The moment you handed over your money for those notes, their primary financial incentive with you was largely fulfilled. Any advice they give you now is often geared towards keeping you in their ecosystem, buying more, or purchasing additional intel or protection kits. Your first and most critical step to protecting your investment is to mentally and emotionally divorce yourself from your dealer's narrative. Stop treating their promotional emails as gospel. Stop spending hours on their private forums that are designed to be echo chambers of confirmation bias. You must become the CEO of your own currency investment. This means your decision-making process must be independent, based on verifiable data from the actual source nations, not from a salesperson in another country whose livelihood depends on your continued belief in their specific version of the dream. The second mistake is a direct consequence of the first, and it's called intel inebriation. You are drunk on bad information. You are consuming a constant drip feed of so-called intel from unnamed sources in the CBI, or whispers from the Treasury, or a friend of a friend in Baghdad. This intel is almost always vague, unverifiable, and deliberately open to interpretation. It uses coded language, talks about the Matrix, the Nasara Gazara, and other conspiracy-adjacent concepts to give it a veneer of secret, exclusive knowledge. This cycle is addictive. A guru will post a cryptic message. The meeting in Switzerland was a success. The green light is imminent. Hold steady. For days, the community buzzes with excitement. When nothing happens, the same guru will then post a follow-up. Dark forces intervened at the last moment. We must remain vigilant. This is a test of our resolve. This creates a perpetual motion machine of hype and letdown, and it keeps you hooked, constantly checking for the next update, the next piece of the puzzle. This is not investment research. This is a form of entertainment, and a dangerous one at that. It conditions you to live in a fantasy world of imminent paydays preventing you from dealing with the concrete, slow-moving, and often boring reality of international finance and macroeconomic reform. The real, verifiable information about the Iraqi dinar's future is found in the press releases of the Central Bank of Iraq, in the statements from the International Monetary Fund regarding Vietnam's economic progress, and in the analysis of credible global financial institutions. It is dry, technical, and rarely offers a specific date or rate. Breaking free from the intel cycle is like breaking an addiction, but it is absolutely essential for you to see your investment clearly. You must go on an intel diet. Unsubscribe from those channels. Stop refreshing those forums. Your financial future is too important to be left in the hands of anonymous online personas who are never held accountable for their consistently wrong predictions. Now, let's move from the psychological pitfalls to the brutally practical and logistical errors that could physically prevent you from exchanging your currency, starting with mistake number 3, the liquidity illusion. Many investors operate under the assumption that the moment an RV is announced, every bank in every small town across America will be ready, willing, and able to exchange your Iraqi dinar or Vietnamese dong for US dollars at the new glorious rate. This is a fantasy and a dangerous one. The vast majority of local and regional banks have no infrastructure, no protocols, and no foreign currency exchange contracts in place to handle a sudden, massive, and unprecedented currency revaluation event for exotic currencies like the dinar and dong. They deal in major, liquid currencies like euros, British pounds, and Japanese yen. Your local bank manager likely has zero training for this scenario. What happens if you walk into your bank with a suitcase of dinar the day after an RV announcement? At best, you will be met with blank stares and confusion. At worst, the bank's compliance department, wary of such an unusual and large transaction, may flag it for potential money laundering, potentially freezing your assets and initiating a lengthy and stressful investigation. The responsibility for knowing exactly where and how you will exchange your currency falls squarely on you, and you alone. You cannot wait until the day after to figure this out. You need to be building relationships now with large international banks that have dedicated foreign exchange desks. You need to be calling them, not asking about the RV, but asking about their current policies for exchanging Iraqi dinar or Vietnamese dong. You need to understand their requirements. Will they only exchange for existing customers? Do they have minimum balance requirements? Will they require the notes to be inspected by a third party? This is the unglamorous hard work of being an investor. Hoping for the best is not a strategy. Having a concrete, vetted, and confirmed plan for liquidity is. Without it, you could be left holding a fortune on paper that you cannot access in reality, while the window of opportunity potentially narrows. This leads directly into the 4th catastrophic mistake, one that could see you lose your entire investment to the government instead of the bank. Tax oblivion. I am consistently shocked by how many investors in this community have given absolutely zero thought to the tax implications of a currency revaluation. They are so focused on the if and the when that they have completely ignored the after. Let me be perfectly clear. If you make a substantial profit from the exchange of dinar or dong, and we are talking about life-changing sums of money here, the Internal Revenue Service will want its share. This is not a maybe. This is a certainty. In the eyes of the IRS, your profit from the exchange is considered a capital gain. Depending on how long you have held the currency, it will be classified as either a short-term or long-term capital gain, each with different tax rates that can be staggering on a large sum. If you exchange $1 million worth of currency and have a 37% tax liability, you owe the government $370,000. If you have not planned for this, it will destroy you. You cannot simply exchange the money, spend it, and then hope to figure out the taxes later. The bank will likely file a currency transaction report for any large exchange, and the IRS will know. You must be consulting with a qualified professional tax advisor now, before any revaluation occurs. You need to understand the difference between ordinary income and capital gains. You need to explore legal strategies for mitigating your tax burden, such as setting up trusts or charitable contributions. You need to have a plan to set aside a significant portion of your proceeds immediately upon exchange to cover your tax bill. To be successful in this investment, you must think like a wealthy person, and wealthy people understand that tax planning is not something you do after you get the money. It is an integral part of the strategy to acquire and keep the wealth. Ignorance of the tax code is not a defense, and the IRS is not known for its sympathy towards those who have hoped their tax bill away. The fifth mistake is a failure of basic operational security, and it is called the publicity plague. The moment the RV happens, the single worst thing you can do is run to social media and announce your windfall to the world. I know the temptation will be overwhelming. You'll want to shout it from the rooftops, post a picture of your new sports car, and tell all your doubters, "I told you so." This would be a monumental error in judgment that could put you, your family, and your newfound wealth in serious danger. The internet is not a friendly place, and it is filled with scammers, con artists, and desperate people who would not think twice about targeting you once they know you have sudden wealth. You will become a magnet for every sob story, every can't-miss business opportunity, every long-lost relative, and every outright criminal scheme imaginable. Your privacy is your first and most valuable asset upon a successful exchange. You must have a plan for absolute discretion. This means having a conversation with your immediate family now, stressing the importance of silence. It means deactivating your social media accounts or strictly limiting their visibility. It means having a ready-made, boring story for curious friends and neighbors about where any new money came from. An inheritance or business success from years ago is a good, uninteresting cover. The goal is to become financially invisible. True, lasting wealth is quiet. It does not draw attention to itself. The flamboyant public displays of wealth you see online are often a mirage, masking deep debt and insecurity, or they are a beacon inviting trouble. Your success in this investment should be measured not by the number of people who know about it, but by the peace, security, and freedom it brings to you and your loved ones, away from the prying eyes of the world. The dream is financial independence, not internet fame, and the two are almost always mutually exclusive. We have covered the psychological, logistical, and security mistakes, but now we must confront the most fundamental and sobering error of all. Mistake number 6, the reality blind spot. This is the failure to understand the genuine, monumental scale of what a revaluation actually means in the context of the global financial system. The dream sold by the gurus is simple. The dinar will RV from its current fraction of a cent to $3 or more overnight. Let's pause and consider the staggering, earth-shattering implications of that. The money supply of the Iraqi dinar, the physical currency in circulation, is estimated to be in the tens of trillions of dinars. A revaluation to just $1 per dinar would instantly give Iraq, a nation with a GDP of a few $100 billion, a money supply worth tens of trillions of US dollars, an amount that could dwarf the entire US monetary base. It would make every Iraqi citizen, on paper, a multimillionaire. This is not how economies work. It would vaporize Iraq's export economy, as no one could afford their oil. It would trigger hyperinflation. It would be the most significant wealth transfer in human history, and it would be done with the flick of a switch. This fantasy ignores the painful, complex, and incremental reality of economic progress. The real path for the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong is not a magical overnight RV, but a slow, grinding process of appreciation driven by tangible economic factors, political stability, the development of a diversified economy beyond oil, foreign direct investment, and the strengthening of financial institutions. The Central Bank of Iraq is not working towards a secret, spectacular RV date. It is working on mundane but crucial reforms like fighting corruption, modernizing the banking sector, and controlling inflation. The very same, boring work that all central banks do. To pin all your hopes on a singular, explosive event is to set yourself up for perpetual disappointment. A smarter, more grounded approach is to view these currencies as a high-risk, high-potential long-term play on the economic development of Iraq and Vietnam. It is a bet that these nations will, over the course of many years or even decades, become more stable, more prosperous, and more integrated into the global economy, and that their currencies will gradually strengthen as a result. This is a far less sexy narrative than the overnight millionaire story, but it is the one that is rooted in economic reality. It allows you to have a rational exit strategy, to take profits along the way if the currency appreciates 10%, 20%, or 50% over several years, rather than holding your breath indefinitely for a 1,000% return that may never come. So, where does this leave you? After understanding these 6 costly mistakes: dealer delusion, intel inebriation, the liquidity illusion, tax oblivion, the publicity plague, and the reality blind spot, you might feel a sense of overwhelm. But you should feel the exact opposite. You should feel empowered. You now possess a framework of knowledge that 95% of other investors in this space completely lack. You have been given a map that shows you where the cliffs and the quicksand are. This knowledge transforms you from a passive dreamer, waiting for a guru to give you the good news, into an active, strategic investor who is taking control of your own financial destiny. The power was always within you. It was just clouded by hope, hype, and misinformation. Your task now is to conduct a brutally honest audit of your own situation. Review where you bought your currency and question the motives of your sources of information. Purge the intel from your life and commit to seeking out primary, verifiable data. Pick up the phone and start calling banks to formulate your liquidity plan. Schedule an appointment with a tax professional to understand your future liabilities. And most importantly, recalibrate your expectations to align with global economic realities, not online fantasies. This is the hard work. This is the work that separates those who will be prepared to navigate a complex financial event, should it ever occur, from those who will be left confused, frustrated, and financially harmed. And this is precisely why you need to take action right now. Do not let this video be just another piece of information you consume and forget. The cost of inaction is too high. Your financial future is on the line. So, here is your direct call to action. First, go to the comments section below this video. I am going to pose a single, crucial question. After watching this, which of these 6 mistakes are you going to address first? I want you to tell me. Writing it down and declaring it creates a psychological commitment. Let's build a community of educated, prepared investors down there, supporting each other with rational discussion, not wild speculation. Second, if you found this level of detail, this no-nonsense approach valuable, then you need to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Why? Because my entire mission is to cut through the noise and give you the unvarnished truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. I am not here to sell you dreams. I am here to give you the knowledge and the tools to protect the investment you have already made. We will continue to break down the real economic data, analyze statements from the CBI and the State Bank of Vietnam, and discuss practical strategies for wealth preservation. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a journey toward becoming a smarter, more resilient investor. The road ahead is complex, but you do not have to walk it alone. Let's get to work.